Hello and welcome to the Week 7 edition of the Survivor Podcast. It is Matt Brown. It is Steven Anders each and every week running you through the options and hopefully giving you some good advice somewhere along the way. If you're still here, congrats on you. A lot of people are not, but Steven, at least last week we avoided kind of a team of death. Nobody really eliminated a big portion of the pool, despite the fact we had two massive upsets in real life football. They were not popular selections inside of Survivor. And so we move on here with the vast majority of these pools still available from what they were last week. And, we kind of do this threshold of, 6 points or more are the teams that we're saying, okay, these are real options. And then we'll get into secondary options. Only 3 teams fit that threshold this week. The Bills are 9-point favorites over the Patriots. We have the Seattle Seahawks are 8-point favorites over the Cardinals. And then we get down to the 49ers being 6.5-point favorites over the Vikings. And that's it this week.
Compared to last week where we had several teams with higher than 80% implied win probability, there's only one team, if you look at money lines, that hits 80%, and most of the markets have them at less than an 80% win probability, and that's Buffalo. And that has actually come down from the start of the week because Josh Allen is banged up. Sean McDermott said he's day-to-day. I think he's going to play, but at least as we record this on Tuesday, for all of the people out there trying to figure out Survivor, you have to monitor the injury report a little bit more closely than maybe any other week this year because Josh Allen is just one of a long list of examples with even what look like obvious Survivor picks with guys that are banged up, important pieces of these teams that you'd feel a lot better if you knew if they were playing or not.
Yeah, and just to get straight to the point out there, guys, to me, there's one very, very obvious play, and then there's a whole bunch of very sketchy plays. It is the Seattle Seahawks at home, a team that is coming, had a bye just a week ago, so they're as healthy as they're going to be. They have a Cardinals team in which has rounded into form, Steven. When I say rounded into form, they're rounded into the team we thought they were going to be entering the season, which is one of the worst teams in the NFL. Without James Conner, they're really, really lost as to what they're going to do on the offensive side of the ball, and the defense just never was good throughout the course of the season. And so you get a Seahawks team back at home, a healthy quarterback, unlike what we're getting in Buffalo, a healthy complement of playmakers, which unlike what you're getting for San Francisco, to me, it seems like the very, very, very obvious choice. And if you have Seattle available, and I can't imagine you don't, you play Seattle, you move on, and you don't think twice about it.
Absolutely. I think, looking at their future value, I mean, I don't know where you're going to be comfortable playing them. Cleveland next week with that great defense. Baltimore, one of the more well-rounded teams the week after that on November the 5th. And obviously a bunch of NFC West games against the Rams and 2 more against the 49ers, a game against Dallas and Philadelphia still on the schedule. So it's the obvious play in Survivor this week. They don't have a ton of future value. They are playing a Cardinals team that looks like we've already seen their best. And if the Rams were a 7-point favorite last week, I think they should be about that, maybe a little bit more this week for the Seahawks against that same Cardinals team. Yeah. And we know the Cardinals defense doesn't pack much of a punch. This is a very different matchup than what the Seattle played on the road against the Cincinnati defense a week ago. So the only question becomes, Matt, if you kind of have a rule where you don't want to play the most popular team every week, then okay, then we need to talk about some other options.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have that rule out there, then so be it. This week, I don't think there's room to get cute because you don't want to – look, weird things can happen when quarterbacks are hurt, and especially at Josh Allen. And I'm not saying that Josh Allen is actually hurt. Again, we're recording this on Tuesday, but it's a road game with a quarterback who at least thought he needed to go get x-rays and MRIs and things like that. That's never a great situation. And plus, with Buffalo, in 2 weeks – You'll have a much better idea of what Josh Allen, how he feels and what's going on. And then they have a home game against the Broncos, right? And so to me, I don't know why you'd risk it this week when you have such an obvious play. So I'm not going there. San Francisco, way too many question marks with what's going on with that team. And honestly, look, you and I in real life, sure, do we think the 49ers win that game? But it's a road game against a Vikings team that is just weird enough maybe to make this thing interesting. So nothing there for me. And then outside of that, now we're getting into a bunch of the really kind of dicey games. Chiefs, I guess, 5.5-point favorites over the Chargers. We saw them on Monday night just not be able to to do anything against a Dallas defense where you think the Chiefs defense is at least on par with what you're getting from the Dallas defense. So I guess the Chiefs could be a secondary option, but do you really want to play the Chiefs in a week in which you have Seattle to play and it's so obvious the Chiefs are a team where you can use them almost any week, right? They're going to be favorites every week. So like, it's like a great team to just keep in your back pocket for weeks where you go, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.
I stepped in for Mo writing the Survivor column this week because he, had some well-deserved time off, and it was challenging, man. I mean, most weeks there's at least a handful of teams. If you look at the money line, and lately there's been a few that start with a 3, minus 300 or better, and there were only 3 that started with a 2, and then by the 4th team, you're less than minus 200. You're getting more into 50 to 60% probability range. And then we always have a section where you're looking for contrarian options. And one of them for me was the Jaguars. And then the Trevor Lawrence news comes out with his knee, and the market's moving back towards the Saints. And wouldn't be surprised if the Jags just rest him this week, even though they're saying there's no major damage. So there goes one contrarian option. And then the other option was the Lions. And that is an underdog this week. So how good do you feel really taking them? That's how deep I had to go to try and find some other options this week. It's just it's a short list this week if you're trying to be safe.
The only thing to me, I guess, would be is, let's say I'm in one where you can have multiple entries and you have 8 or 10 left or something like that. It's, if you wanted to hold your nose and play the Raiders against whatever a Tyler Badgett is, then like, I guess you could do that. I know you're never going to feel good about playing the Raiders on the road, but Steven, I'm not saying this to be funny. I did not know Tyler Badgett was an actual human player. Like when he entered the game, I had to go and look up, and then I realized why I did not know, because he was a free agent signing from Shepherd University, which I also didn't know was a real thing. And so
I'm Googling Shepherd University now just for some fun facts.
Yeah. And so if you are one of those guys that want to be super contrarian, at least with Brian Hoyer, you know what you've got, right? You have a proven entity in the NFL in Brian Hoyer, as to where the range of outcomes now for Tyler Badgett, where he's not this little pinch hitter. Like, the Raiders are probably going to have to do 10 minutes of video work on Tyler Badgett to figure out exactly what to do to make this guy wet himself out there on the field in his first NFL start. So that would be the only contrarian option that I could even remotely say I would consider. But again, I'm pretty much all in on Seahawks this week.
What state is Shepherd University in?
It sounds northeast. I mean, like, it's got to be northeast, because if it's
West
a small
Virginia.
school, okay, that's not really northeast, but yeah, it's over there somewhere. But yeah,
I'm on the Wikipedia page of notable alumni, and Tyson Badgett is at the top of the list.
Well, he is now. He is now. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't there 2 days ago, but he is now. Someone went in and dropped him in there. So I mean,
there's like a former West Virginia governor, some state politicians, and like literally nobody you've ever heard of from Shepherd University.
So again, that's at least an option if you have the gumption to do that. It's like I said, see, you're not feeling good about playing the Raiders on the road, but at least with Brian Hoyer, you know what Brian Hoyer is. He is better than Tyler Badgett. We at least know that, right? I mean, like, he is better than Tyler Badgett. So we at least have a proven entity and a guy that's got a lot of experience in the NFL. But guys, I don't want to waste any more of your time. If you have Seattle available, you just play Seattle this week. There's no real good, cute option. There just really isn't. Like, I would advocate for something if I thought that it was going to help your win probability in your league. There's just not a good, cute option this week. And so, you get Seattle against a Cardinals team that has proven who they are, which is a team that has a bad defense that can't really move the ball anymore. And so take advantage of it. Just move on. You got a bunch of weeks left. We're only in week 7. You got a bunch of weeks left in the season to get cute.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was, me, I try to find somebody other than the most popular team, but go down the list here. Buffalo, what's up with Josh Allen? San Francisco has 3 key injuries to their offense, and they're on the road. Kansas City's playing a division rival that has held them to a 1-score win in 5 of their last 6 meetings in the Chargers. It's always a tough game against the Chargers. You talked about Las Vegas, Chicago. The Rams are playing Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's coming off a bye and has wrecked 2 games already with their defense. Baltimore's playing Detroit, coin flip game. Saints, maybe, I'll say this. I don't like the Saints. I think they're a bad team, average at best. If Trevor Lawrence is not playing it at CJ Beathard, I would consider it on Thursday night. That might make my top 3. And if Deshaun Watson does come back this week, I'm skeptical. Mary Kay Cabot had a report last week saying he's going to miss multiple more weeks. But if Watson does play, we don't know that as we record on Tuesday, but that seems like a pretty solid choice to Cleveland playing against Indianapolis. That's kind of where my short list is at this point, Matt. But it's Seattle, a gap the size of the Red Sea,
exactly,
than everybody else.
Yeah, and it's very, very likely you have Seattle left, in your pool. There just hasn't been a week where you would have felt great about playing Seattle. There's already been a bye as well where you couldn't even use them. So it's very likely that you've got Seattle left. And so, Seattle with a bullet, and then some of these other ones again. Like I said, I guess my biggest lean, would be the Raiders because, again, Tyler Badgett. I mean, it's kind of would be my lean there, but I don't really want to. I don't want to pollute anybody's head. It's Seattle. Play Seattle. Move on. We can get cute next week.
All right. Let me ask you one more question.
All right.
Just for the sake of debate here, our fearless director Brett Colson at times in Survivor will go extremely aggressive when he's in a monster pool and there's a lot of people left. And if there's a play like Seattle in a given week where we are fairly confident that more than half of the entries left are going to be on that team, maybe even more than that. It wouldn't shock me if 70% of the entries are on Seattle in your pools this week. Do you go ultra contrarian and take the Cardinals? Because if somehow, and maybe this is only if you have multiple entries, but if somehow the Cardinals beat Seattle, my God, are you just in the catbird seat rest of the season?
Yeah, but I mean, again, what would you put that win percentage at? What we've seen from the Cardinals lately, I mean, what would you put that win percentage at? It would be, to me,
if you're going by implied probabilities and converting money line, it's about 27%.
Yeah, but for me, I think it's even low. I would have Seahawks double-digit favorites in this game. That's kind of where I sit on all of that. But yes, multiple entries. We will see in Circa, there will be 2 or 3 picks on the Cardinals this week, even in $1,000 entry tournament, because people are just going to burn that entry because they've got 8 left or 9 left.
What
or
if?
10.
What if Gino gets hurt, and what if another guy gets hurt?
Yeah, so we will see that in Circa. So whenever you pull up the Circa numbers this week and you see 3 on the Cardinals, you're going to see, look, no, it's people playing both sides of the game. It's people that have multiple entries that are playing both sides of the game. And so that will happen. But yeah, I mean, from a game theory standpoint, if you have a lot of entries, then yes, that is certainly something you should do this week particular, because it would not surprise me if Seattle gets 80% of it this week. It wouldn't surprise me because there's just no other good options. And there's a lot of future value in the 49ers, and there's a lot of future value in the Chiefs because they're just going to be favorites every week. They're a team that's going to be favored every single week. And so there's not a lot of teams you can say that about. So that just intrinsically makes their future value greater than just about every team out there.
Final thought for me, our friends over at Pool Genius, we partner with them for Survivor content. You could check out their awesome table in our Survivor guide each and every week now. They have additional articles at the bottom of that table for Survivor advice and other betting advice as well. What I will tell you, also there's a link down in the description if you want to get a free 3-day trial for Pool Genius. And just to your point about future value, basically on a 0 to 5 scale where 5 is great future value and 0 is terrible future value, some of the teams we talked about, the Bills, the 49ers, the Chiefs, all higher than 3 to 4.5 essentially. Seattle's future value, they've assigned at 0.1.
Yep.
So there you go. Just to kind
There
of
it is.
put a
Your
bow on
decision
what we've
is
been saying.
yes. Your decision is made for you guys. Everything we do, and including that article that Steven is talking about, is absolutely free over at thelines.com. So be sure and head over there. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section who are you going to play this week. It's it seems pretty straightforward, but maybe you have a different opinion than us. So let us know in the comment section. Of course, you can always talk football, golf, basketball, baseball, everything 24/7. If you go to the Discord at lines.com, upper right-hand corner, just click the little Discord button. That also absolutely free. For Steven, I am Matt. Good luck on your Week 7 Survivor picks.
Don't screw this up, Seattle.